Hi folks, H here. I thought I'd take a minute to introduce myself and the brand new channel. So I'm an ex-serviceman with a crippling disability. I was discharged in 2006 from the Royal Air Force with a spinal injury, which over a period of time progressed into one of the most painful experiences I've ever endured. With the nature of the injury, part of my discs in L5S1 pushed its way back into my spinal column, into the central nervous system. And over a period of time, it actually fused to the nervous system, which for anybody who suffers from a prolapsed disc or back injury, you'll know exactly what I mean. It got to the stage, folks, where I couldn't even wash myself or wipe my own backside. The pain was that intense. So 6 years ago, I had no other choice but to undergo spinal surgery, which I had to pay for myself because at the time our glorious NHS system wouldn't even touch me for I was too young, and they were worried of the consequences of an operation of that severity, for want of a better word. So I went to a private hospital in Belfast, met a fantastic consultant, Dr. Abahard, who also happens to be the head of the NHS for Northern Ireland as well. And over a period of 6 months, back and forward, we went ahead with the spinal surgery, which was 60-40 in the favour of me ending up in a wheelchair. But thanks be to the big fella upstairs, the operation was a success, and I was able to continue on for a short time. Car. You know, for a quiet part of the country, it's quite busy here. Culture folk. Oh, everybody knows everybody. So where was I? Yes, the operation. A year later, I went back to help out in the uncle's dairy farm, and I did something stupid and crippled myself yet again. So with that, I was back in bed for months after months after months. I had completely buggered myself this time. So during all that time in bed, the one thing that kept me going was YouTube. And some fantastic creators like Ronnie Dalv and the likes from Australia. You had Jason, Primal Outdoors from America. Van City Van Life, Chrome, and Cruzy the Bulldog. And then of course all our great YouTubers here in the UK as well, from Kent Survival, Simon Bloke in the Woods, to name but a few, and then Mr. Teapot, Messenger Flyer, all from the moto side of things. So that was all well and good, and I spent best part of 18 months literally in bed. Couldn't do diddly squat. Again, I couldn't, at points I couldn't wash myself, dress myself, wipe my own backside, and well, to say the least, depression kicked in, anxiety kicked in, and it was hard. It was very, very, very hard. But when you think things couldn't get any worse, they do. 11th November 2020, I suffered 2 heart attacks, minor and a major. The minor should have been the warning for me to get to the hospital, but because of the pain I was in with my back and etc., I just wrote it off as indigestion. 2 days later, I dropped to my knees, and that should have been the end of me. It was, for I sort of died, only for a minute, but I died nonetheless, and the fantastic paramedics that they were brought me back and managed to get me to hospital, and these boys and girls were up there waiting for me, wheeled me straight onto the table. The cardiac surgeon, a fantastic bloke, young fella, absolutely fantastic bloke, managed to get 2 out of 3 stents in to get the blood going again. So, but with that, only 50% of the heart's fixed, so at some stage the rest will need sorting out. So that was all well and good, and then started recovering from that, and 4 months later I started to shake. Was it left or right? Right hand started to shake. Very, very minor tremors, and I thought it was remnants of the heart attack, and all well and good, and just coming into summer and weather was nice, and over the next 3 or 4 weeks the tremors and the shakes got worse, and I got to the point in August where I couldn't even lift a cup of tea without scalding myself. The shakes were that our doctors thought it was Parkinson's disease or a neurological disease, or they're like, and here we go, car again. Well, for a wee shore road, this is busy. So where was I? Shakes, couldn't even lift a cup of tea without scalding myself. Sweating 24 hours a day. Couldn't walk from the kitchen to the bedroom without trembling or having to steady myself for the shakes were that bad. So bloods were taken, blah, blah, blah. And it was a young technician in the hospital picked up on the bloods. I actually had thyroid disease, an overactive or underactive, one of the two, thyroids. And straight onto the medication. When I'm within weeks, all fine and dandy. But in between this, the heart attack and the thyroid disease, the back went again. And it was beyond anything. It was as bad as the heart attack. And this was at my wit's end. But because we were in the middle of COVID, or COVID was just starting, I have had the heart attack, I've had the thyroid disease. The hospital just brought me in, gave me a jag in the spine, and straight into rehab. And it was in rehab I met probably one of the best physiotherapists that I've ever encountered. Young girl, but she sorted me out. It was how do you say, when you form that sort of a bond with your therapist, you do what you're told because you're disappointed in letting her down. So I did what I was told to the letter, and over the period of the thyroid disease and the summer and whatnot, I got strong again. And that's when I made the decision of getting off my backside and living the dream. Well, a couple of dreams. With all the to and froing with the bed rest and bedridden and stuff and the YouTube, I had come up with two dreams. One was to drive to Nordkap on a motorbike, and the second was to do Route 66 on a Harley Davidson. But of course, cost of living crisis and all that blah blah blah, and then America was just a non-starter for me. There's no way in God's green earth could I fork out £12,000 that I don't have for a guided tour of Route 66. So I settled with doing the big bike test. So 2021, I booked a 1 week course with BMW Motorrad in the UK, and off I trundled, and best week ever. Absolutely fantastic instructors, great part of the country. I'll cover that in another video at some time. But needless to say, not a problem. Went through theory, not a problem. Then stage 1, stage 2, came away with a big bike license, and I invested in a Triumph Tiger 900. That would have been June last year. So I spent the whole summer and autumn and early part of the winter just tootling about the home roads. I think I did 5,000 miles in 4 months, just gone out for 30-40 minutes every day, just to build up the strength and the skills again. And it was great. So end of the year, I made the decision, I'm doing Norway. With all the aches and pains and injuries, I have also been left with degenerative bone syndrome. Because I've no discs in the lower spine, the bones are going like this here, and they're slowly wearing away each other. I've already lost, I think it's 0.05 of a mil, and eventually it'll get to the stage where I won't have enough mobility to ride or move or do anything. And the car. Oh, get on, no girl, flag in the mouth and all. You gotta love the country. So where was I? Yes, degenerative bone syndrome, yes. So I know for a fact I've only got 3 years left while I can ride or mobile, and I'll have to give that up. So made the mad decision, upgrade to the 1200. This is Tess, Triumph Tiger GT Pro 1200. And herself and myself are going to head off to Norway, come this May. And I thought I'd document the whole thing and slap it on YouTube. For you never know, my story might inspire someone like you lot to get off your backside and do exactly the same. So there you go, folks. There you go. That's a brief introduction to me, a brief introduction to Test, the triumphant tiger. And future videos, I'll go more into depth into each injury, each ailment, the cure, the reasons, and all the other blah, 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 blah. But this is just a quick introduction to myself, to Tess, and the plan, absolutely bat poop crazy that it might be, to drive all the way to Nordkap as a disabled ex-serviceman. And in case you're wondering, stage 1. This is me, officially, fact and furious. So until next time, folks, thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you soon. All the best for now. Bye bye. And the car. They must be thinking, who's this idiot talking to his phone? Laters.